Hi everyone, this is Aaron for Zollotech, and we're going to review the LG Spectrum. The LG Spectrum is LG's latest entry into the 4G LTE smartphone market on Verizon, and offers some pretty decent specs. But let's go ahead and take a look at what the specs are, what the phone looks like, and then let's talk about what's good and what's bad. So here we have a 4.5-inch 720p screen, so 1280 by 720. Really nice display, I'll show you in a moment. Down at the bottom we have home, back, and menu. And they're kind of recessed under glass. It's a little bit different than you've seen on other phones. We have a forward-facing camera. We have some proximity sensors and things here as well. On this side, we don't have anything. On the bottom, we have a microphone. It's kind of hidden where you pull the back off, same place. On this side, we have a volume rocker. On the top, we have our power or sleep-wake button. We have a micro USB for charging and syncing. And it's under this little flap. A little bit flimsy. We also have our noise canceling microphone and our 3.5mm headphone jack. On the back we have an 8 megapixel 720 and 1080p video capability camera along with a speaker on the bottom. The camera takes pretty decent pictures. It's about average for the 8 megapixel family of cameras. There are some that's better, some that's worse, but I think most people that would buy this phone would be pretty happy with that camera. The forward facing is good for video calls and things like that. Now if we pop the back off, we have a fairly decent sized battery. The battery is good for about a full day, and here you can maybe be able to see, let me have it refocus here. It's an 1830 milliamp hour battery, and it's pretty decent for a day, like I said, but it has to power a really high resolution and big screen. And we have a 16 gigabyte SD card with 4 gigs internal storage, along with a dual 1.5 gigahertz processor, and we have 1 gig of RAM. So here's our SIM card for 4G. It is not a micro SIM, but you really don't need that because it's such a big phone. And in my hands, it doesn't look too big. It feels kind of plasticky. It doesn't look too big because my hands are so big. But for comparison, I have an iPhone with a 3.5-inch screen. So I'll give you an idea how big this phone really is. It's an iPhone 4S. It's a pretty big phone. So for most people that don't want a big phone, this may be out of size range for you. The phone is about $200 on contract, but let's go ahead and turn it on. Now it has gingerbread on it. Why people are still not shipping ice cream sandwich in quantity is beyond me, but it runs gingerbread and it runs it okay. It is a little bit choppy at times, which is a little bit surprising considering it's running a fairly recent version processor with a lot of speed and a lot of power. Now the one thing they've done on the home screen here, or the lock screen, is we can slide up to unlock, or we can slide down to go to our emails. Just a quick way in, pretty nice, and get our notifications. This is their default user interface. I really haven't changed anything at all. It's kind of just populated itself with all these widgets. So you can see albums and SD card and things. It's a pretty nice UI, but you can see the touch response is not as good as I would like. Colors are pretty decent, but for whatever reason with this giant processor, you would expect a little bit more speed, I think. It just doesn't seem as responsive as some of the others. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if that's their UI or if that's Gingerbread's fault or what. But the UI itself is pretty nice. It organizes things into groups. If I tap on a group, it opens, closes. So overall, it's pretty nice. It's Gingerbread, so I'm not going to go into the UI and the phone a whole lot as far as the interface and Android goes, because most of you have seen that. But the phone itself has some bad points to it. The good point is this beautiful screen, and let me show you that up close. So the screen has a really nice color to it. It's a true HD LCD IPS display, and there we go. True HD IPS display, really high resolution, looks great if you want to play videos, things like that. But when it comes to the way the tactile feel and things of it, the screen is nice. It doesn't say that it's Gorilla Glass. It just says it's scratch resistant, so it's possible it's Gorilla Glass, but it's not listed as that. When we slide like I said, when I slide my finger, sometimes there's a delay, sometimes there's not. I'm not really sure why that is. The phone itself feels very plasticky, and I don't know if they did that to keep the weight down, but as you can see here, this back is plastic, which is nice. You could easily replace it, but it also makes it feel a little bit cheap. And at $200 on contract, it's not really a cheap phone. Battery life will get you through a day, but with LTE if you're a heavy data user, you're not going to get through the whole day. You'll get through half a day and then need to charge it again. So overall, it's a decent phone, but for the price, there's some pretty nice phones out there that you may want to look at already. Now, if you love LG, you'll probably love this phone, as long as it's not too big. But there are other options out there in this price range that may suit you a little bit better. Overall, though, the phone is basic Android with their nice UI over the top of it. Works well. It does what it promises to do and has great LTE speeds, rather. And I get great speeds in my area. I don't know about you, but I was able to get 17 down by 12 up the other day when I did a speed test. And overall, things are pretty snappy. The browser, will open it up. I can show you here. I am not on Wi-Fi right now. I'm on 4G. I'll go to Zollotech, and I'll show you the 4G speeds. I've got 3 bars of 4G. You can see it loads pretty quick, but there's a little bit of chop to it. We can pinch to zoom, and it's still a little bit choppy. I don't know why that is, but there it is. Not bad, like I said, but I'd love to see what Ice Cream Sandwich runs like on these dual-core, really powerful processors. Overall, though, like I said, decent phone, but there are some better options out there. Now, if you have any thoughts on this phone, or you've played around with one, or you own one, please go ahead and comment below, as I like to hear what you have to say. And maybe there's something I'm missing that you think it's a better phone than others for some other reason, or why you chose it. But I'd love to hear what you have to say. Maybe you got a great deal on it. But other than that, I think it's okay, like I said. If you have any questions or comments, also, please comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.